Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you here today, joining us either in London or watching via the live stream. My name is Emily Woodgate and I'm part of the DNV communications team. So we're here today to share some news about an exciting partnership between DNV and VeChain. And we'll start with the details of the announcement before opening for questions from the room and for those watching online. And we also have some questions that we've gathered from the blockchain community in advance. So to that end, it's my pleasure to welcome our speakers today. You'll be hearing from Luca Crisciotti, the CEO of DNV Business Assurance. We will also have Renato Grottola, the Global Director of M&A and Digital Transformation in DNV Business Assurance. And of course, Sunny Lu, the CEO of VeChain. So Luca, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. Thank you. So I'm really excited today to be here to announce this partnership. We have got a lot of questions in the last days. I know that even, let's say, in the DNV everyone is talking about blockchain these days. But before to dig into what this partnership is all about and to dig into, let's say, the details about the reason why we are embracing this technology, give me a couple of minutes to present the company I work with. So DNV is a quality assurance and risk management company driven by the purpose to safeguard life, property, and environment. We do provide services like classification, like technical assurance, like software, like independent advisory services to a number of industries such as maritime, oil and gas, power and renewable energy. Beyond that, we do provide certification services, supply chain management services, and data management services to a wide range of industries. So we have we have more than 150 years of history, so we are very proud to have been established in 1864, and we will like, of course, to how can I say, to be in business for the next 150 years. We have presence in more than 100 countries with around 300 offices, 100,000 customers, again representing more than 39 industry sectors and 13,000 employees. We are organized with 5 business areas. The core business is still today the maritime one. Then we have one part of the company taking care about oil and gas, the third one about energy. Then we have in the newly established business area called Digital Solution, which is managing beyond, let's say, software also the recently launched data platform called Veracity. And then we have Business Assurance, which is the company I represent today. I mentioned that DNV has been established in 1864. One of the reasons why we've been so long in the business is because we invest a lot into research and innovation. So a consistent part of our income every year is reinjected into the company to develop new ideas. And I have to say that the idea of blockchain is born exactly that way. So a couple of years ago, for the first time, we started to think about this new technology, and today we are ready to launch, let's say, a lot of projects. With regard specifically to business assurance, we are one of the world-leading certification provider. We have around 2,000 people, but also we rely on around 3,000 subcontractors, again, all around the world. We have issued around 80,000 certificates, ISO certificates, and we focus specifically to, let's say, 3 industries. One is the food and beverage, then we have the automotive and aerospace, and the third one is the healthcare. But we serve, as I said before, literally any kind of industry in the world. This is the portfolio of services that we have. The most, let's say, important one is still management system certification. So some of you may be familiar with the name ISO 9000, ISO 14000, and so on. Again, represent more or less 70% of what we are doing. But we do a lot of things also certifying products. We are, for example, a notified body, which from, let's say, several authorities here in Europe, but also in the US, in Asia as well, We certify medical devices, for example, and also a wide range of other kind of products. We are pretty active in the supply chain management market, which means that we help company improving their performances along all the supply chain. So we work a lot also with their suppliers. We certify people. We do also do a lot of sustainability reporting. So we help companies in, let's say, communicating also what they're doing with regard to a number of initiatives around sustainability. Why we are here today to announce the partnership with VeChain, and why blockchain is becoming so relevant and important for a company like DNV. So let me start to share with you, let's say, what was the starting point. The starting point was that we are living in a world that is really changing, and it's changing very fast. Let me explain what we are doing. We send every day hundreds of our people around the world to check if companies are following regulations or international standards. We do these audits. We then issue a statement, a report, and then we issue a certificate. And issuing the certificate, we give trust and confidence to the market. We are saying that a company is working in a certain way. Now, when we do that, we look always at the past records of a company. We cannot, of course, be there every day, of the year. So we have to be there once or twice per year at maximum. And we have, of course, to maximize the time when we are there to make sure that we are looking at as many evidence as possible that the company, again, is working, following quality, environmental, safety, security standards, and so on. So a big part of what we are doing is dealing with data, is dealing with information, is dealing with evidences. We are producing a kind of static picture at the end of this activity. So it's something that, again, we cannot modify. We thought that if we would have been able to take advantage of the new technologies, the concept of the static picture may change, and that's what we are doing. So first of all, we are using the blockchain to make sure that the data that we are collecting are safely, let's say, stored, that are reliable data, that are reliable information. And then we are trying to connect also this technology with other technology, IoT, for example. So data coming from sensors. We are connecting this technology with data available from public sources. So we are talking about big data. We are connecting this with new technology like artificial intelligence. We are creating a kind of ecosystem where the blockchain is really the basis. In this way, we will be able to give to the market not anymore just a static picture, but that dynamic picture. In every moment, we can push a button and we can tell to the market, this company is following these rules. We have confidence that, they are doing the right thing. In this picture so far, consumers have never been involved. We are trying to involve as well consumers in this picture. Why this is possible? It's possible because we are digitally tagging, let's say, all of the, transaction, all of the products, all of the flows, of this, ecosystem. So a company, a customer is digitally tagged. The product that they're producing are digitally tagged. All the information connected to that, the performances are digitally tagged. Consumers may express their opinion about specifically a product, and our job as a third party will be to validate all this information, to put everything together, and to issue a statement, as we are doing today, using, a slightly different way. So this is, the reason why we are trying to, change the concept of assurance, because we have new technology available that will allow us, again, to do things in a different way. But why VeChain? I got this question several times. Why you have chosen VeChain, or why VeChain has chosen DNVGL? Maybe from different perspective. Well, let me say that we have met several companies in the past months, last year. And as you can imagine, there's plenty really of startups these days that are doing something within blockchain. Well, why again VeChain? And what's the difference compared to the other, at least let's say from my point of view? It was very clear since day one that we shared the same vision. We would like to help companies improving their performances. We would like to do that in a sustainable way. It's a very robust team. It's a team that is coming from the industry. And I remember the first discussion we had was not really about the technology at all, but was starting, discussing about solution for customers. What are the problems that could, let's say, drive, the solution, That was the start point. That was very different compared to similar discussions with other companies that came to us and say, I'm the guru of blockchain, I can do this and that, and let's say the discussion was mainly on the technology. We were not looking just for let's say, technological partner. We were looking to someone that was sharing again our vision. The other thing is that VeChain it's a platform, which means flexibility, which means possibility to be connected to different solutions and not just offer the same kind of solution. That was also another element which was key for us. We are, for example, trying to link now what we are doing, we say within the blockchain, to our data platform, which is called Veracity. So some of the, let's say, project that we are running these days together with VeChain will be placed on that platform, let's say, later on. So that's the reason why, again, we have been choosing VeChain. That's all from my side. You're going to get now a lot of details from Sunny and Renato. So Sunny, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Luca. Hello, everyone. I'm Sunny from VeChain. Very glad to be here also, join the DNV GL team to announce. I'm very proud about that. We are set up the global collaboration with DNV GL. About 8 months ago, I remember I met Rinaldo, a very nice gentleman from Italy, in New York. We were in a New York consensus meeting, and I did have a small pitch, about 30 minutes, and I think I caught attention from Rinaldo, and after that, we spent almost 2 hours to discuss about the collaborative opportunities and how we're going to do something interesting together. And then until today, we're here to announce the collaboration. I'm really, really proud. Out of so many blockchain startup companies, and we are the one. And I'm really confident we can work together for something really amazing. As Luca just introduced, because we share the same vision, blockchain is a very promising technology. We all believe it's going to change the world again, just like the internet did in the past 30 or 40 years. But how are we going to do that? What's the first step? How are we going to bring this technology down to earth applications? That's what we can share with DNV GL as the same vision. And also, I'm really impressive about, even DNV GL is a company with 150 years old history, but in the spirit of innovative and spirit of adventure, they're really, really quick. More than what I can just expect. Actually, to be honest, we already have some deal together. We're working on some real life case to bring the down-to-earth solution to the customers. The reason we are choosing DNV GL, or we are partnership with DNV GL, we all know blockchain is a protocol, is an infrastructure technology. But when we go to the different enterprise, we need to embed it with the business process of the different enterprises. We may know, based on my background, my partner's background, we may know some industries, but DNV GL is serving 80,000 different customers around the around the world. They have industry know-how. They are going really deep into each industry. So their expertise for each industry, for each enterprise, is going to be huge key factors for our future success. So I'm really, really excited about what we can do. I think I'm really confident also in a short period of time, we might be able to announce some live cases with combining technology like IoT, blockchain, artificial intelligence together very soon. So stay tuned and wait for more news. Thank you very much. So we're going to leave to Rinaldo for more.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me try to give you a snapshot of what we are planning to do together with VeChain in the near future. And part of what we are doing, it's already for us present. Let me first say something about what has been the journey that DNVGL has embraced to be here today. We have been choosing and selecting blockchain as an enabling technology for our overall digital transformation journey. And the main reason why we did so is that our business has a lot to do about information, has a lot to do about trust of information, and blockchain is a technology which is able to leverage both quality, quantity, accuracy, and usability of the information. That's a main reason why we are here. And we, before entering into a partnership to be used in order to create application and solution for customer, we try to learn about the technology and also to use the technology on our own. That's the reason why a few months ago we were the first certification body in the world to utilize blockchain to issue our own certificate under a private blockchain platform. This was something we did in order to test the possibility to use a blockchain solution in production applications. So this is the way today we deliver our own certificate. It was also a first attempt to give to our customer as enterprise a form of digital identity which is issued by DNVGL and which tells the public about how good a company is in certain dimensions. Could be the way they make products, their focus on environment, or their social responsible behavior. That's the first thing we did. Now we developed this concept, which is a digital assurance concept. We call it digital assurance concept. And the idea is basically to transform the whole set of our solution and service we provide today to customer. But we will do this through a roadmap. And we have been carefully choosing from where this journey should start. And we have decided to focus on supply chains and in particular on products which are flowing through supply chain. Why with this? We have been deciding to do this? Because supply chain are undergoing a profound and deep transformation in these days. And this is due to several combined factors. Some of these are internal factors, some of these are external factors. Let's start from the external dimension. The utilization and the convergence of several digital technology is basically giving to the consumer and to the user of product, the consumer could be also a professional user of product, an enormous or an increased power in deciding how good is a product, how bad is a product. And it's important also to build a story around the product. The user experience, the experience that a user is having with the product is even more important or equally important than product characteristics. That's the first set of external input, which is basically changing the product life cycle. Now a product will probably stay on market for a few months or no more than a couple of years. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the product life cycle was much, much longer. The second set of drivers is very internal. First of all, the adoption of Industry 4.0 principle, the diffusion, for example, of sensor of IoT devices, is basically changing the way companies are managing their own processes and their supply chain. You may skip a lot of the steps into a normal and linear supply chain by simply printing a product through a 3D printer where the product needs to be delivered and used. And this is basically changing the way the former supply chain were operating. The way was that there were very stable relationship between a customer and the supplier, so a lot of the activities performed by companies like DNVGL were trying to make sure that the company was operating properly and was reliable, and it was able to deliver product in the right way for a long term. But there are new things that are happening in the world which are basically changing the way products are delivered and manufactured. It's no longer the time of mass customization. You need to produce the right amount of products, and as I said before, they should last in the market for a limited period of time. So you cannot any longer establish very long-term relationship with supplier. So you need to basically shift your focus in measuring how good a product is, moving it from the supplier assessment to the product assessment. That's an important concept, and in a while we will see why. Another element is that now companies are living in a much more complex environment. They are exposed to a number of risks, operational risks, of different categories, which simply 5-10 years ago were not existing. So the life of enterprises is becoming more complex as they have to prove their adherence and compliance to standard across many dimensions. How good the product is, how environmentally friendly the product is, how socially responsible the product is. This means that you need to link the product to a number of information that is going to increase. In addition, the adoption of IoT device will be a part of our everyday life. The more the concept of testing a product after it has been produced will become obsolete, because you will be able to look at the product in its operation in every moment. And a player like DNV cannot ignore this changing environment. That's why we are here. That's why we have embraced blockchain. That's why we have agreed with VeChain to develop a common platform, because our basic idea is to deliver totally new services which are basically aiming to ensure that the products that are flowing across the supply chain are traceable and their performance and characteristics are verifiable across several dimensions. This is opening up for new application. I mean, one of the future application of assurance is basically about enabling a new business model based on sharing economies. So we are just at the start of a very long journey in which one important element will be the role of the consumer. We really believe that it's now time to include in the supply chain the consumer, to offer him a true story about how a product has been made, to let him provide validate and assured feedback about how good the product is, and this feedback could be used in improving the quality of product. So it's really a kind of new era in which we are starting by delivering, by choice, not only proof of concept, but real application. We have several projects already ongoing. In particular, the biggest one is now actually running in China, and it's about ensuring that products are, let's say, kept safe and stored in proper ways in a cooling supply chain type of logic. Or soon we will release a first application to show traceability of wine according to several characteristics from the grape to the shelf and to the glass of the consumer. In the next months, we are going to release a number of similar applications. The common logic of this for the first months will be to include the consumer into this equation, into the supply chain. So we are especially targeting, for the time being, the retail industry and the food and beverage industry, as we believe that this will be a fantastic platform for proving how important would be to include consumers in the supply chain concept. And of course, this is just the beginning. We operate since many years in traditional industry, and application of blockchain, for example, in industry like automotive or aerospace, pharma, and many others, are quite obviously. It is just the beginning of a long journey, which will be made through concrete and real project. We believe that proof of concept is an important element for showing the capability of a technology, but it's important if you really want to scale the technology into a real business environment to start delivering project, concrete solution that prove to work in an industrial scale. That's enough from my side. Let me give the stage back to Emily for the next session.
Thank you, Renato. We'll now open up for questions to Luca and Renato and Sunny. So just bear with us for a second. We'll quickly rearrange the room. Okay, so just a reminder to those of you who are watching online that please make sure that you're posting your questions in the comments field of the original Facebook post, so we can make sure that we capture everything that's coming in that's on the Facebook live stream. We are seeing quite a high volume of comments, not so many questions coming in at this stage, but if you have anything, please do keep them coming. And do we have any questions from the room to begin? Yes?
Hi, so I guess just Renato.
Sorry, if you could just introduce yourself as well.
My name's Joe Fay, I'm from the Register. I think for Renato, you, maybe I wrote it down wrongly, but were you saying there's a couple of projects you've been working on in China? Yes. Could you just sort of tell us what industries those are, sort of the companies, clients involved, and was there one you were sort of talking about sort of product all the way to the glass, so I'm guessing is that some kind of beverage type product? If you could tell us again who it would be that you're working with there.
Yeah, okay, I mean you refer in the last part of your question to what we call the wine application. We are actually in the process of delivering a solution for a winemaker. This solution will be presented officially in a few weeks in Japan, and it will be the first solution that will enable a full traceability of wine characteristic, quality, and origin across the entire production process and harvesting process. This solution will be fully developed and will be piloted with one or two real customers that are actually working with us in order to reach that stage. The second project is really ongoing, and it's a big project. Maybe also Sunny could add on top of what I'm saying, but it's basically making sure that the frozen product is kept properly in the cool chain from the warehouse up to the shelf in order to make sure that food safety characteristics are preserved and product integrity is kept safe. There are many others projects we are discussing and start delivering.
We cannot disclose the names because we have signed NDAs with customers, so that's why we're not disclosing names, but we are talking about real projects. I mean, something. But
most of these are also aiming at, let's say, demonstrating how is it possible by tagging the product properly through a sensor or through a QR code, that you could add a lot of precision and accuracy in the information, and you could let also the company use this information for its own marketing purposes to make the consumer much more aware of what is eating or drinking or utilizing.
Yeah. And so in all cases, it sort of presupposes that the product, at some point the product is tagged. From that point, you know, whether RFID or, as you say, QR code.
Not only the product is tagged, but we are trying, depending upon the kind of product, to track also components of product. To provide a full traceability of the entire production process, which probably will involve more than one company.
I mean, you're not going to be able to tag a grape before it gets pressed to be
made
into wine.
I mean,
that's not impossible.
That's not impossible. I mean, there's no. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not a joke. I mean, today you can really have, through some kind of synthetic DNA analysis, trace the origin of any kind of, I don't know, vegetable or product. So that's really, and that's something that, again, is going to happen, let's say, really in the next, let's say, weeks or months. So we are not talking about really future in terms of years, but in few months' time, you would be able, again, to trace, again, any kind of vegetables or fruits without installing in it any kind of chip, because as you can imagine, I mean, it would be even dangerous, right?
Yeah.
So, but through a simple analysis, you would be able then
Right.
to really trace from which piece of land, you know, that specific product is
Right,
coming
okay.
from. Maybe,
Yeah, and also to answer the question, the project we're working in China right now also involves the technology like Internet of Things. The sensors through those cool chain trunks will collect the data in the lifetime, in the real time, and all of the data before they goes to the centralized database of the customer itself, but also keep we call a hash copy in the VeChain blockchain. So in the future, when DNV Geo is going to audit and providing the insurance service for the food safety for this customer, we are able to check the data very quickly because we just need to make sure the data is happening in which time, and nobody has been changing. Nobody has changing, and it's easy to prove, to analyze and provide. That's what we call the digital assurance, other than the traditional assurance. So it's quite exciting about that.
And in addition to that, any consumer at the supermarket can again scan a QR code and have all the information about that. So it's also, let's say, something I would say quite new for consumers as well.
Yeah. And in each case, it's a separate private blockchain for each project?
No, we use the VeChain blockchain as the right now we are consortium blockchain, but in in Q2 of this year, we're going to be public blockchain.
Right. Q2?
Yeah.
You say?
Well, most likely June, I would say.
Cool.
One of the very popular questions on the Reddit when we were gathering input ahead of this session was, what was the reason for DNVGL to choose VeChain, which you addressed in your presentation earlier, Luca. But can you tell us a little bit more about the scope of the cooperation between DNVGL and VeChain? Is it a test project or a live implementation, globally available? What are we looking at here?
Yeah. Let's say that we have signed a partnership with VeChain, not really identifying specifically, let's say, the kind of service we are, let's say, working together. It's really a broad and wide partnership. We have chosen together to start with supply chain management, but this is, let's say, has not to be seen as a limitation. So it means that most likely in the next months we are going to let's say face other kind of challenges, and we are going to use this technology in other services. It's important that at this point in time, let's say we start to work with customers so that we get as much information as possible, and then we are able then to again expand the scope of work. So let's say that a little bit longer term, I would say that everything we do hopefully will be supported by blockchain. So it's really wide.
And also I wanted to add some comments about this global collaboration, I would say. Firstly, like I just mentioned, we really expect the massive industrial expertise from DNVGL, so are able to bring the application on blockchain to more and more customers, more and more enterprises. And also from another way, DNVGL also is helping VeChain. We have 2 seats in our steering committee of VeChain Foundation belonging to DNVGL. That's Ronaldo and George. So we're expecting, DNVGL team can bring we called enterprise feedback or the governance or all of the experiences they are dealing with the 80,000 customers back to us, so we can build up the unique governance and economic model on our new blockchain. So be able to adopt the enterprise application much more easily. As you know, right now, even for the famous public blockchain like Bitcoin, Ethereum, we can see very few enterprise level applications. But that's what we can collaborate with DNVGL together. We're building up that kind of a unique governance model, economic model, can kill the barrier for enterprise going to blockchain applications.
And it's a global partnership, so it's not limited to one geography only. I mean, we had these pilots, let's say in China. I mean, Renato was referring to the wine app, which is in Europe, but it's a global partnership.
Yeah,
so
and also the food safety event will be in Tokyo.
Exactly. So it's everywhere.
Yeah, and also I'm very proud for VeChain. Even we are like a startup company, but we start to have a head office in Shanghai, Singapore, and also the Paris one in Tokyo. So I think maybe very soon we can build up the office in London as well. So it's like a global collaboration, as Luca just said.
We've had a question come in on Facebook that this actually leads quite nicely into. Does DNVGL or see opportunities to implement blockchain into more facets of the business outside of supply chain? So, industries like maritime, renewables, oil and gas.
Yeah, I can tell you that let's say there's a lot of work that we are doing these days. I mean, beyond what we are doing in business assurance. So also, my colleagues in the other BAs are let's say testing and doing some pilots with the blockchain. So very soon we're going to do something also in the other BAs. So maritime, oil and gas, energy, digital solution, all of them are working on this technology as well.
Mm-hmm. Sonny, a question for you.
All right.
How will Thor be utilised in the VeChain ecosystem? Do you plan on having RFID chips essentially replace barcodes?
Well, I think that's a two different type of question, I would say. Firstly, RFID, NFC, or even the QR code is, let's say it's a category of Internet of Things. And blockchain is working with the other technology like Internet of Things together to bring the new solution or the disruptive solution to the enterprises, to the customers. And like I just mentioned, with the help from DNVGL, we're able to build up the new type of blockchain, or even we say new generation of blockchain. So to be able to adopt the enterprise level applications to blockchain side.
And then we've had a question that's been quite popular on Facebook and on the Reddit. Can you say something, perhaps this one's for you, Renato, about how this solution can be applied to the automotive parts industry or perhaps to healthcare, to other sorts of sort of medical testing, pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, okay. I mean, for example, if you take the automotive sector as an example, one obvious implementation of a blockchain solution will be to make sure that original spare parts are original, so to fight anti-counterfeiting, for example, and make sure that when you buy a spare part, you are buying an original one. Another possible implementation is about building the story of the car when the car is used, collect a number of information and data that could help the user, the owner of the car, to have a better insurance cost, for example, or to have a more predictive kind of maintenance for the car. So really, let's say in every kind of environment in which the information are adding value or are changing the way you use a product, blockchain could have a significant role. Yeah. For example, the cool chain application we are developing in China jointly for a retailer could be easily adopted in the pharma industries, yeah, which has a similar situation. In many countries in the world, for example, by law, pharmaceutical company must identify the single pill. That is called serialization. And today this is seen more like a kind of obligation than opportunity. The blockchain could open up for this. Think about, for example, precision medicine. An area in which you need to be able to get a personalized treatment based on the possibility to collect data that are stored or were stored in different hospital or clinics. Through blockchain, you could grant utilization of this information, which are in silos, making sure that only those that have been chosen to get access to it will have it. That's a fantastic trust builder, and trust is what is missing today to let companies belonging to different areas or to different parts of the supply chain to share information. If there is enough trust about how the information is treated, how the information could be used, and who should access this information. And these are all characteristics that blockchain could grant. This will open up for an enormous amount of data, and more data, more knowledge, more application, more value.
And also in terms of automobile industry, as everyone knows, we have been working with one of the famous French automobile company, Renault, with Microsoft France in Paris. We did, I think it's just more than spare parts, but more like maintenance logs, the life cycle of the product or of the car, and also like a profile of the car, how many maintenance you have been doing, how many repairs you have been doing, which could be beneficial to the insurance company or even the financial service provider, like the banking for the second-hand car trading. To be honest, I think the automobile industry is one of the promising opportunity for blockchain to quickly adopting. We have been working in the second case, also a very famous car manufacturer, but also because of the NDA, we're not able to say too much. I hope we can announce very soon.
Do we have any further questions from the room at this stage?
Hi, it's a question for Sunny.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Basically, we can see a lot of value that blockchain can bring to the companies in terms of cost-saving levels. So I'm just wondering, in the long term, do you have any particular vision for VeChain to provide any function as a profit-generating function for industries?
I think it's for sure. The answer is yes, for sure. Firstly, we believe in blockchain technology. Like I said, blockchain, just like internet, who can change our world again, like in the last 30, 40 years. But for sure, it's going to change our lives in a positive way. And for most of the enterprise, if they willing to use VeChain blockchain, that means they gain value somehow from the functionality or the services or technologies they out of VeChain blockchain. And also in terms of how we're gonna providing or how VeChain is going to be, I would say VeChain right now is a platform, especially after the Q2 2018 when we when we launched the mainnet for VeChain Store. The platform will be like infrastructure. So I usually give the figure of speech is VeChain Store is going to like as a highway, and we're building up the infrastructure. We land at the base, and we allow the multiple different cars, running in the highway. So we're looking for the partners like DNV, and also even the small startups can build up small vehicles in this highway to carry the different business and providing the values, whatever to individuals or to the enterprises. And going further step, once we have more and more applications running in the VeChain, I'm sure we are able to find the new connectivity or new opportunity between the different dots or different enterprises. They might find a very interesting collaborative opportunities. For example, we have been working with a car company and wine company. Maybe they can do something together. We don't know, right? So it will be new business model, new connectivity. We can find out that. So it's like how Google comes out. There are like 20 million different websites, and then people were thinking, oh, I need some search engine to make life easier or better. So that's how Google comes up. So our mission is to find the next Google.
Sure, thank you.
Renato, you mentioned earlier that we had a collaboration with Deloitte on another blockchain solution, which was a private blockchain. Does VeChain replace this, and why have we gone for a public blockchain solution now?
These are two different things. So, I mean, it's not about VeChain replacing, but it's more about VeChain opening up for an external utilization of the blockchain technology and building together with us new application under this digital assurance concept. The first project, which was delivered in partnership with Deloitte, is about, as I said, issuing under a blockchain private platform our own certificate. Being the certificate owned by DNVGL, then a private platform is suitable for that purpose. There is a connection which now start getting shape and form between what we did a few months ago and what we are start doing now. Because we basically, through the adoption of blockchain for issuing our certificates, as I said, we are assigning and giving to every company a digital identity which will enable them to join blockchain platform, and in particular the VeChain platform. So by doing this, the company will be able to connect its own product in the VeChain platform for all the future supply chain management application we are going to deliver. So our idea is basically through this digital identity to create a kind of qualified ecosystem which is basically putting in connection our own customer, as Sunny said, to create more value by combining what they are doing and by a more efficient utilization of their own supply chain. Many companies are either running and managing their own supply chain or are part of another supply chain. And this ecosystem is an ecosystem which, in which we could act and reduce a lot of friction and cost for supply chain managers, thus improving basically the value creation in each of the industry which we will touch.
Do you see any issues for the certification industry in dealing with this this new flow of information, like we've got with continuous monitoring, continuous auditing enabled by VeChain? Luca?
Yeah, I think that this is something that our industry have to, let's say, consider very carefully, meaning adopting this new technology. Think about the fact that an industry ISO standard is reviewed on average every 4 years. And think about, you know, what's going on every 4 years. I mean, a lot of things. I mean, really, the world is changing. I mean, the technology is changing. So I think that, again, adopting this technology will allow us to, let's say, run at the same speed as, let's say, the companies do. And so this is something that we cannot avoid. I mean, but we have to, let's say, deal with. We have to be able to drive and not to be driven, you know. So that's why I think that all the certification bodies, sooner or later, will have to, let's say, embrace this technology into what they are doing to make sure that we are able to serve the customers in the best possible way. And back to one of the questions before, you know, about profit. Yeah, maybe, you know, we are not going to, how can I say, generate profit directly. I mean, we are helping companies to improve their profit, and we are trying to do it in a very sustainable way. And that's through the combination of two things, and that is one of the main difference, let's say, of the partnership between VeChain and DNVGL compared to other partnership or other project. We are merging the third-party concept, you know, the assurance role that DNVGL with VeChain, which is bringing the technology. So we are able, through our role also, you know, to give really added value through that technology to the customers. So that's what we bring, let's say, in addition, compared to similar initiatives these days.
Yeah, and also on top of that, I think we share a very interesting but same vision with DNVGL is, I want to quote from Renato again, is there will be the new business model. So in terms of profits, in terms of costs, it's a mindset to change from big picture, not only looking into one enterprise or one player, like what is revenue, what is the cost, that kind of way, but more like in the whole ecosystem. So in the end, at the end of the day, I would say we just keep the mindset is we pay for what we share or what we get, and we earn for what we share. That's it.
Luca, will VeChain be used in relation to DNVGL's Veracity industry data platform? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we are working now to place the next wine up, as mentioned before, into Veracity. We truly believe that let's say, the big data. So combining two different technologies is really the winning strategy at the moment. Blockchain in itself, I mean, isolated, I mean, alone will not really help companies too much to progress. But the combination of the different technologies, so I mentioned before the artificial intelligence, IoT, and big data, of course, these will enable companies to make really the step forward. So that's why now we are starting to link basically what we have been doing on the data management through our recently established data platform, Veracity, with the first application that we are generating through the partnership of VeChain. We are just connecting two technologies because 1 + 1 is 3 in this case, you know. So it's giving more value to our customers.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5, yeah, you are right.
Sonny, you know, when it comes to this sort of future outlook for the partnership, what are you most excited about over the coming year, the next 5 years, and then on the flip side, what do you see as maybe the biggest challenges?
Well, like I said, blockchain is supposed to be like invisible technology for most of the end users, whatever the enterprise users or consumers. But one thing I'm sure is in the near future, like next 3 or 5 years, people could use blockchain every day, but you don't have to take care about that, or you don't have to understand that even. So what I'm really excited about the partnership with DNV Geo is DNV Geo has 80,000 enterprise customers and across so much different industries. You know, from the drink you drink, from the soft drink you drink like every day, from the food you take, the convenience store you goes, or the car you're driving, like every aspect. So I'm really excited about the opportunities we can bring those valuable applications running on VeChain blockchain and bring the real values to the enterprise and also to the consumers in the end. So that's what I'm really excited about that.
Any reflections on that, Renato or Luca? What are you most excited about for the coming future, or the next year, the next 5 years of the partnership?
Well, I think that for us what is really most exciting is the fact that more than a technological revolution, we are facing a cultural revolution. And what is important for us is that we are really, let's say, we are really seeing things that, let's say, just a couple of years ago were not possible with this technology. Instead, you know, things may happen. This is the real revolution. What is important, again, is not to start from the technology in itself. As Sunny was saying, most of, let's say, the consumers will not really know anything about the blockchain. Today, you connect your device to a Wi-Fi hotspot, for example. You don't know anything about the protocol or, you know, these kind of things. You just enjoy, you know, your device, you surf internet, and that's it. And this will be the same with the blockchain. But of course, when you design a new service, you have to, of course, take into account the technology. But again, what is really exciting for us is to make things, let's say, happening, which just 2 years ago was not possible at all. So we see the possibility really to shape industries, to help our customers with solutions that just 2 years ago were not existing at all, were not really possible to be invented.
If I could build on top, I would say that basically we are helping our customer, traditionally companies, to build trust in their product since 150 years, basically. And business assurance has 30 years kind of history, and we do this. We always have been blaming the fact that it is very difficult for us to understand a consumer about what we really do. And so I think blockchain for us is opening up for creating new services, new solutions that are really improving everyday life of the user of products that are produced by our customer. This is very important. So, I mean, if I was speaking today in a kind of professional environment, I could say, for example, that blockchain would help or enable in retail industry omni-channel marketing, and everybody will be happy. Then many people will not understand. If I say, for example, that through blockchain, it will be possible for you to buy online a pair of shoes of a big brand and then go to store of the same brand and change it, things that today you cannot do it because it's almost impossible for two reasons. The store and the online channel, they have different revenue target, so they don't like simply to exchange a product. And the second point is that the store cannot really be sure that the product you are bringing back is true, is original. I think if we're able to develop similar solution, then what we do becomes much more visible in everyday life. I think that would be very, I would say, challenging and
That's
promising.
where consumers will understand really what blockchain is all about.
So when we say we want to include the consumer in the supply chain, we mean things like that. We want to let him be part of this, and even influence the way products are developed.
Yeah, and in summary, I would say, if blockchain is going to change the world, I cannot imagine other opportunity better than this.
Excellent. Well, and then I think on that note, that's probably all we have time for today. Were there any final questions from the floor? Yeah, sure.
Hi, my name's Kieran from the crypto group Shark CIA, and I was wondering, we've seen some major issues with scaling on the blockchain, and with all these important partnerships that you've announced, these commercial partnerships, I was just wondering if you had any plans for scaling the VeChain blockchain once it's used as widely as something as Ethereum.
Well, yes, we do. That's why I said with a proper governance, build up together with DNV Geo and also some other partners together, we want to make sure the VeChain blockchain is scalable for to fit or adopt more and more use cases. So we even plan for the different stage of a VeChain blockchain ecosystem. So we start from, let's say, number of applications, 10, 20, but what about 100? What about 1,000 applications? So the VeChain blockchain is going to upgrade with the different capacity, different TPS, different, the technical setup, make sure we're able to support more and more applications. And also even in the future, when we find out the new, let's say, new business model or new opportunity from a variety of different applications, we might need some new technology to support that, even including the cross-chain to deal with multi-chain applications, or to deal the interface between the existing system with the blockchain. That's all of the things we already planned and in our roadmap. So we think about that. And one thing, I think when you talk about the scalability issue, when we look at the current public blockchain, why we have scalability issue, actually it's very obvious to very difficult to reach a consensus to upgrade or not. So then we talk about the forks for Bitcoins, or the soft forks or hard forks from Ethereum all of the time. But we were thinking we should have a new balance between the total decentralization and total centralization to make sure we have efficiency to improve and run iteration for like any kind of application in the internet. But meanwhile, we keep the transparency, publicity to the rules and to the decisions to the public. So that's a balance we try to find out. That's a new thing we're doing in the blockchain world.
Excellent. Please thank Sonny Lu, Luca Crisciotti, and Renato Grottola.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining today. For those of you online, if we didn't get to your comments, bear with us. We will be going back through them and picking up on unanswered relevant topics to the announcement. And then the Facebook live stream will be available on demand, and you can also find more information on dnvgl.com and on VeChain.com. So thank you again, and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.